All right, guys. So I just wanted to talk about how bad it actually has gotten on Reddit. Now, I've told people, you can go on Reddit, you can look up anything, non-political. Reddit can be fun to use. But when it comes to politics, it is just an alt-left cesspool. And some people may know this is happening, other people may not know it. I just want to do a video on it because it is crazy. I'm just going to explain it and give the situation. So there's an account that calls out Reddit lies and like why Reddit is bad. This is an account on Twitter and they tweet stuff out like this pretty often, but this was just an example that I found today. It says a left-leaning Redditor who wrote a single comment on a right-leaning subreddit, Libs of Reddit. If you guys know the Twitter account, Libs of TikTok, well, they've got like a subreddit of it, Libs of Reddit, which screenshots like, I guess, crazy liberal quotes and things like that and makes fun of it. His account was instantaneously banned from the Justice Served subreddit. So I'm guessing that's kind of a left-wing subreddit. Reddit power mods don't even care about ideology. Even exposing yourself to wrongthink can result in your ban. So to kind of tell this story in a simpler way, a person that's a liberal went onto another subreddit, a conservative subreddit, and started commenting on some things, maybe arguing, pro-liberal points or whatever. And another liberal subreddit retroactively bans the liberal that was commenting on the conservative things because apparently you can't even have Discord now with some of these moderators on Reddit. And so this is the message that the person that got banned received. You have been permanently banned from participating in Justice Served. You can still view and subscribe to it, but you will not be able to post or comment. And this is what the moderator said when it comes to banning someone because they posted on a different subreddit. You have been banned for participating in a subreddit that has consistently shown to provide refuge for users to promote hate, violence, and misinformation, the Libs of Reddit page. So, of course, and see, this is the big issue, right? When they talk about misinformation, buddy, I'm sure you and all your cronies back in 2017 were just screaming from the rooftops that, the only reason Trump got elected was because of Russia and the Mueller report and all of that. And guess what? All of that turned out to be misinformation. So what are we going to do about you? Like, this stuff is just like who decides what is misinformation? That's the whole point. That's the idea of the word. They get to decide. It's just like the Hunter Biden thing. If we don't like it, label it misinformation, blame it on Russia, and we'll eliminate it. And like the idea that you're gonna ban someone who is liberal because they had the audacity to go onto another subreddit that's maybe a little bit more conservative and argue or agree or whatever, the idea that you get to ban them from your own subreddit. And by the way, this happens a lot with these people. It's how power hungry they are. You'll see it with a lot of different subreddits to where someone will comment something and then under their own comment, they'll say, I just got randomly banned from a different subreddit because I commented on here. And of course, it always is a liberal person banning them. You can't even have discourse, even if you are a liberal, with conservatives now because the moderators are so, this is Nazi Germany. That's what this is. You're not allowed to have Discord with other people. They'll ban you. That's how bad it's gotten. And then it says appeals can be provided, whatever. And then it says you are receiving this message because you followed the instructions. So they did appeal. And then it goes on to say, after the appeal, your ban stems from your participation here, and it links the comments. We are willing to reverse the ban only if you plan to stop supporting the target subreddit, regardless of context. See, that's also important. Regardless of context, it doesn't matter if this person was arguing with conservatives. No matter what, they don't want you interacting. How can we move forward as a country if we don't have raw, honest debate This is next level dumb. This is almost like these. See, people wonder how does a situation like China happen where, you have to show like your ID to even leave an area and go to a different zone. People like this is how this happens. Exactly, people like this. I guarantee you, these are the same moderators that in real life, if somebody didn't wear their mask, they would say, you're killing everyone, you're disgusting. Meanwhile, it comes out a few days ago that Fauci said and admitted, masks don't work. It's completely ridiculous. I was pretty much always anti-mask because I thought they dehumanized people and we couldn't see people's actual reaction. And especially when the actual data came out, there was another thing that I had seen. It was an employee, maybe at a Target, that was like, oh my God, people keep, customers keep complaining that I'm still wearing a mask. They need to stop complaining and they need to mind their own business. And of course, because it's Reddit, it gets about 3,000 upvotes and it gets awards and stuff, and she gets little money for that. But in reality, I am very proud of those customers. Now, me personally, I think you should just do whatever you want. I'm not going to sit there and tell someone not to wear a mask, even at this point, even with how ridiculous we know it is. But there definitely is, I'm proud of people for standing up and saying, take the mask off. You shouldn't live in fear. It's ridiculous. This is not how humans should be living. It's completely dehumanizing ourselves. And then they say, what about Chinese culture? The Chinese always wear the masks. Yes, because China is completely controlled by the government. The government loves that the Chinese citizens wear masks because it dehumanizes all of them and it makes them less sympathetic towards each other because they're not actually able to see human emotion behind a mask. You're basically looking at a robot when everyone has masks on and things like that. But that was something that no one brought up. And look, I'm not someone that causes a thing. When they said you had to wear the mask in Ohio, I did it, whatever. But I was always I was anti-mask. I said, this is ridiculous, whatever, I'll do it. I'm not going to fight it because I'm not someone that wants to cause a scene or anything like that. If you want to wear a mask, that's fine. But there is something in me that knows, no, this is anti-human. This dehumanizes us. And these are the exact same people that if the government told them to put a bucket over their head, they would do it, and they would demonize other citizens for not following the government's orders. So this is really scary groupthink by these moderators, but unfortunately, it's really not surprising. These people do this every single week. You'll see a new person say, hey, they could even be a liberal person and be like, listen, I went onto a conservative subreddit to argue with them and I got banned because of that off of one of the, liberal cesspool Reddits or liberal cesspool subreddits because I even interacted with conservatives. This is the thing with Reddit. It is a complete cesspool. There are good parts of it, but you cannot, anything political on Reddit has to be thrown away. Has to. 100%. Because it is such a left-wing cesspool. But I just thought that was interesting. And, at this point, I've seen it 100 times. But I know there are people that probably don't even know what's happening. But that's how bad. And this is why Elon Musk taking over Twitter was so important. Reddit is an alt-left cesspool. Facebook is far left. Take a look at Elon Musk pointed out who Facebook actually gave money to during, I think it was the 2020 election. It's all of their money is going to the Democratic Party. So Facebook is left-wing, Reddit is left-wing, Instagram is left-wing. You guys remember that BLM stuff with the black squares? And they would actually try and guilt trip white people into posting the black squares. And then they're like, oh, if you don't post a black square, you're racist. That's how ridiculous Instagram got. So Instagram is far left. All of social media is left-wing. The only reason liberals don't have a complete stranglehold on all the mainstream information is because Elon Musk wrote a freaking check of $44 billion. Amazing. Simply amazing, and actually even more scary than amazing if there was no Elon Musk, and that's the exact person they're trying to eliminate. And I'm not saying billionaires are this great thing, but let's be honest, if we didn't have a billionaire, all of our information would be completely left-wing. There would be there wouldn't be any sort of one side or another, it would be completely biased. It's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google manipulating search results. That's come out recently. Of course they're doing it. And then YouTube right along with Google. Certainly, I think YouTube, it's very hard for me because I love YouTube. I love the idea of creation, but I do think when you get into politics and you start banning people for stuff that turns out to be true and factual, that becomes a big issue. And then it's not like you unban them and admit your mistakes. That's a big problem. I'm sorry. It really is. It's going to be an issue, and I'm not going to sit here and not talk about it. And that's something that YouTube did. That is a problem. I like YouTube, especially when it's non-political stuff. But let's be honest, YouTube, you upload, there's a lot of stuff that goes on it. There is some political stuff that does go on it. And they decided to kind of go along with the normal government narrative. And unfortunately, a lot of that narrative was false. I'm not saying all of it was false, but when it came to the pandemic, a lot of it was false. And they banned a lot of people that were saying stuff that turned out to be true. And it's not like there's any sort of compensation for those people. So this is a really slippery slope. And that's just something I wanted to talk about there. And then we've got some stuff about, how about Joe Biden announcing he's running? Again, I think that's probably best case well, I don't know if I can say it's best case, but I was fearful that Michelle Obama would kind of take over. That's not happening. So, look, if it's DeSantis versus Biden, I would be very confident in DeSantis. But let's see what Trump had to say. And guys, at some point with Trump, Trump is talking about not doing the debates, and I think this is I think he's just angry. He's a little bit scared of DeSantis, and I know Vivek Ramaswamy is a really good debater, but he seems to be backing Trump right now. But he's talking about, I see that everyone is talking about the Republican debates, but nobody got my approval or the approval of the Trump campaign before announcing them. When you're leading by seemingly insurmountable numbers and you have hostile networks with angry Trump and MAGA-hating anchors asking the questions, why subject yourself to being abused? So yeah, Trump is just looking so weak. What is he, scared to debate now? I don't know, man. With Trump, listen, I always say it's not that I have anything against Trump, but at this point it's ridiculous. Trump ran in 2020. He lost by 7 million votes. We got to move on. I understand people are going to say, oh, there's some issues with the election, but at some point you got to move on. If the Republicans run DeSantis, there's already going to be a huge advantage among the independents just based off of the overall age of the candidates, and there is going to be the amount of voter fatigue you're going to have for someone like Biden, who's an 81-year-old white man. There is going to be, they will not be able to draw the minority vote nearly as well as maybe with a candidate that's younger. So I think Biden's going to have a big issue drawing people to the polls in 2024. And if you're facing a young gun like DeSantis who's spry and who's just entering his political prime, I think it's a complete mismatch. I think the Rust Belt is 1,000% DeSantis wins that easily. He's obviously going to take Florida. I think he takes Georgia. I think he takes Arizona. I think it's a bloodbath. This is a very far out prediction, but I would be shocked if DeSantis lost to Biden. Even if Biden and the Democrats do their thing where they improve the economy a little bit, which I'm sure they will do in 2024. It's like, oh, let's actually put pro-business policies in play in 2024 to improve the government because we want the independent vote. It's just like all those liberal people voting for horrible. Think about this. If you're a white person, why would you want to... No, let me rephrase that. If you're a white person and you don't commit crimes, why in the hell would you want to defund the police? How does that help you? How does that help you? If you are not committing crimes, why would you want there to be less safety for you? If you get robbed, if you get beaten, if you come home and everything's gone, you are calling the police. Why, if you do not commit crimes, would you want to defund them? It makes no sense. All of those communities that thought about defunding the police are complete cesspools. The police have been completely alienated from going there, and we've taken 30 steps back. So that never made any sense to me at all.
If you do not commit crimes, why would you want there to be less safety for you? I understand if you're a criminal, of course you would want to defund the police if you're a criminal. Why wouldn't you? That's the only thing that can stop you from committing crimes. I don't get it. That is a crazy. And then they're like, oh my God, Walmart is racist for closing stores. Dude, Walmart is losing thousands of dollars a day because they don't arrest anyone that shoplifts. If you shoplift under 1,000 or whatever. I mean, I don't even know how you enforce something like that. They say if you steal $900 worth of crap or lower, they're not going to arrest you. But I mean, so what if you steal $1,100? They're going to be able to arrest. Like, I don't understand that. If you really want to change, like, the way a place, like crime and overall things like that, the answer is more police, not less. If you go with less police, there will be more crime because there's going to be less of a police presence. Like, this is not a hard concept, okay? It's really not. But these people, it is mind-blowing. And listen, I'm not saying all of Chicago is terrible, all of San Francisco is terrible, but yes, I mean, there's been photos even on Reddit. Oh my God, heaven forbid that. I'm sure they would friggin' ban, if you're in one of those liberal subreddits, you'd get banned for posting it, but people would post photos of car windows in San Francisco. People would have to put up, like, in their window with tape, little notes and say, there is nothing in this car. Please do not break the window, because they know their car is going to get broken into. That's happening in San Francisco, California, or at least it was. Maybe they cleaned it up. I highly doubt it. But that's how bad it's got, to where people had to write little post-it notes, put it on the window and say, do not break into this car. There's nothing in it. I've moved everything out. It is really sad at this point in this country, and apparently the answer to solving that is social workers. That's the answer. That'll solve it. Yeah, let's send some social workers to deal with a meth head. Yes. That'll really work out. But guys, I just wanted to talk about how bad it's gotten on Reddit. You can't even have dialogue with conservatives now. They'll ban you off the subreddits because you're even interacting with them. The only way we even have any sort of a conservative perspective is because Elon Musk takes over Twitter. If he doesn't do that, it is all liberalism, and it is all Hunter Biden 2.0. That's a part that the one huge example, and I think that's why they really wanted to spread their wings with that and totally expose themselves. It was panic mode for them. It was right before the election. They said, let's use all the trigger words we had. They labeled it disinformation. They labeled it misinformation. They didn't actually know if it was disinformation or misinformation, but they needed an excuse to remove it because it might have hurt Biden's chances. Yes. Isn't that funny how that works out? But guys, Biden, it looks like, is running. I think if you're a conservative, that's probably good news, but he is going to get an incumbent advantage, and the economy, I'm sure, will improve in 2024. There's going to be a major incentive for Democrats to try and help and lower the inflation numbers and things like that, but we will see what happens there. Either way, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.